So, in preparation for our first trip out, it's a great idea, as many of you anglers haven't fished since late last year, is to go through your waistcoat, check all your pockets, make sure the all important things in there, your priest, your bottle of gink, your mud, all your leader materials, your tippets, everything else is in there. As well as going through your waistcoat, making sure that that's all up to speed. Going through your boat bag or your bank bag, making sure that all your fly lines are nice and clean, any of the braided loops that are maybe a little bit damaged from last season get replaced, all your backing knots are nice and tight, and that everything's organised and you know where it is for the start of the season. So it might sound a little bit simple, there's a lot of things that we do neglect as anglers. We're inherently lazy. Give our stuff a good clean, let's get on the right track for the start of the season. So with early season trouting in mind, most of our stuff that we're going to be doing predominantly is going to be subsurface. So with this in mind, take a look at your leaders. Really worth having a go with a fluorocarbon. Lots of benefits to fluorocarbon, one of them being the fact that it's denser than water, so it's naturally going to sink through the surface. Great for nymphs, great for pulling lures. A lot thinner than most of your normal nylons, so really thin diameter, so you can step up that breaking strain. The refractive index, also almost identical to water, which means it's pretty much invisible as well, which is going to give us an added advantage. And these are some of our favourite brands here. So we've got the Reverse Grand Max, the Reverse Soft Plus, a little bit softer than the other one, and the Rio Fluoroflex Plus. All great pure fluorocarbons out there that'll give you an extra bit of a helping hand early season. So with subsurface fishing in mind, a few of the fly lines that we're going to take a look at. So the first one is our midge tip. So it's got a short 3-foot clear intermediate tip onto a floating fly line. So perfect for fishing long line nymphs, or if you want to fish your mini lures a little bit close to the surface, great fly line for that. If you want a full sinking fly line but something that goes down just a little bit more, this is what we call our hover intermediate. Sinks at about 1 inch per second, so you can fish that really slow if you want to. The longer you leave it, the further it's going to go down, and if you want to get that little bit further down, then this is our full intermediate clear. This is our Rio Aqualux. Great fly line, sinks at a couple of inches a second, really versatile. Fish it very slow if you want to, let it sink down, or you can fish it very fast through the upper layers of the water. Really good fly lines, all cast really well, allow us the variety that we need early doors without having to reach for the very fast sinking fly lines. So let's just take a look at a few of the flies we're potentially going to be using early season. Now most people automatically will reach straight for their mini lures, which is no bad thing. There's lots of overwintered fish in there. There's been plenty of fry around since last year, and those fish are feeding quite heavily in the cold water. So some of the patterns you'd look at, maybe a nice big zonker. Some of the other mini lures, I like them particularly with the gold head early season. Aviva, classic fly, still really effective. Little cat's whisker, one of the most effective flies out there early season. But don't neglect the nymphs that are in the water as well. Just because they're not necessarily hatching off doesn't mean those fish aren't still feeding on them. So some of your classic flies, gold-ribbed hares here, everyone's got one in their box. Simple black buzzer, a dialback, another favourite, and the old pheasant tail nymph. Great flies, fished on a long leader or fished static under a bung. These flies are going to work really well. As I say, just because the flies aren't hatching off doesn't mean that the fish aren't still feeding on them. They're always in the water. It's only certain times of the year that they're going to be hatching off. And with that in mind, even at this time of the year, small window of opportunity and change in temperature means that some of these buzzers are going to start to come off. Some of the flies that we're going to be looking at, general suggestive patterns. So the foam shipmans, great pattern for fishing right in the surface, along with the CDC buzzer emerger, great pattern, or more suggestive pattern that sits in the surface like a carrot fly. All good flies, so your mini lures, your nymphs and your dries, opportunity for all of these to fish early season.